so we have these little windows that we're going to use. They would almost be like, if you want to, you can go get mats from Hobby Lobby or from a framing place. All we did was took some cardstock, and I think this was 5 by 5 and this was 6 by 3, I think. But they are included after this lesson, so you can just download them and then you can cut them out with an X-Acto knife. The reason we're doing this is, so here we have just all this playing we did, all this mark making, this exploring, and we're just going to take these windows to see, is there something here that's special? All right, that's beautiful. That's really cool. I really like that. I like the composition. I'm looking at it sideways. But I think that's really beautiful. I can see that being something bigger. All right, how about, let's take this size. I'm just kind of going around it, and it's just really helping me to focus and see, is there something here that I could use? I like the numbers down here showing up. So I do like the numbers. Just trying to go over the whole thing, trying to see what I see. I think what I'm seeing too is a reminder how important to bring some depth in. And why I love this is because of the depth of this color. I like that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to go over the whole thing, and anything that I like, I'm just going to, like for this one, if this was the piece I was choosing, which I believe it is, one of them, I'm just going to outline the whole thing and do that over the whole piece and then cut it out. So I'm just going to speed that part up, and I'll meet you back here in a bit. right, I've cut all of these pieces out and we'll look over them in just a bit. But like, what about all of this? So even though maybe they didn't fit into one of the windows, there's a lot of really beautiful pieces here. All right, so let's look at some of these. So these are going to be amazing to include maybe in some of our cold wax pieces. So I'm just going to rip them. So I'm going to have all of these, anything that I think has some beautiful elements to it. The other stuff I can throw out. But look at all these great marks here. And keep them as large as you can in an organic shape. And we're just going to start adding them to this bowl here. So even though, I mean, this has some great marks. I love the longer graphite here. And I'm just going to go through the whole thing, and I'm going to find little areas that could be interesting that we'll save and include, because we might want to add some collage elements into our oil and cold wax. And the thing is, you've already done the work. These are going to be your marks. There's nothing here that I'm having to go online and find any copyright-free images, or, right? Like, I mean, it's all right here. Like, these great scribbles. And if you don't want to rip them, feel free to just come in and cut them too. But even this, this is a really great line that might work in one of the pieces that we're going to work on. So try to keep them longer if you can. You can always go back later and shorten it if you need to. And nothing's too little. So I'm going to keep doing that through this whole thing, and really trying to find, because this has some great lines. Okay. So I will meet you back here, and then we're going to go over some of the composition pieces. I just wanted to show you some of the pieces that I cut out. And I saved almost everything. I have so many pieces like this, guys, in warm-up exercises, or when I'm teaching, and when I'm done with it, then I rip up and I include and I save the things that I loved. I think we have to remember as creatives, I talk about this in business, I think it goes the same even with our art. Copy yourself. Every mark you love, keep a collection of them. The colors you love, keep a set of them. Old work, and we're going to do that in this class. I want you to take some of your old work and print it out and include it in your new work. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. And in fact, by honoring your marks and your color palettes and some of your older work that you really love and those marks and including them, you're actually making your work yours. And you're making it so it's identifiable. That when people see your work, they're like, oh, like I know whose that is. And I think as a creative, that's what we all hope for. That you're not going to make art that looks like someone else, but people really see you in it. All right, I really love this one again. And so once again, it's just really reminding me, don't forget to really add those depths of layers. And even some of the ones that are simpler, I held on to them just in case. Okay? So I'm going to move these to the side, and let's now look at some of the composition pieces that we cut out. I hope you are as inspired by this as I am. I Now, if I feel stuck, I'm going to tape these all to the wall around me, and I'm going to be able to look at each one of these. Each one of these is a study. And each one of these is a reminder of some of these elements that I personally am drawn to in composition. So what about you? What will yours show you? Mine shows me, hey, remember, like to really do the depth, the blacks. I love the blacks and make sure there's those pops of color. I really do like very neutrals and softers colors, but make sure that I include that. How about these really big, bold brush strokes? I love those. And remember, we added those at the end of when we were doing the warm-ups. That was just me at the end going back through and covering some things up and not being afraid to bring some really big white brush strokes in there. And even these softer pieces, there's still some strong lines if you're looking up close in these. I'm really noticing when I cut them out, like how much I love the graphite and the numbers and the lines that are not just bold like this or bold like the black or bold like some of these marks, but I love these lines that are coming through with the graphite. And so the great thing about this, it's your work, it's your marks. All you're doing is coming in with that little window and seeing it with fresh eyes. So let's put these aside and let's look at the square pieces before we move on. Okay, here's the square composition pieces. I have the fifth one here. I'm going to share it, but just for placement and everything. So, and each one that you do, keep turning them and almost use them like flashcards or inspiration cards. If you wanted to, you could laminate them all and put them on a ring, or you could keep them taped up in your workspace. So let's talk about these real quick too. This is my favorite. I really can see this being one that I definitely want to do. I am loving the large areas of white here, but then the really strong black elements underneath. Do you see how without layering and layering and layering, and to be patient with your work and letting things dry and going back in and having fresh eyes on it, you will not have the depth if you cannot persevere and really get the layers in there. I love the lines here. That's what I really like on this one. And it's much softer, but I really still love those lines. This one, when I chose it, I really liked this area up here, the marks in here. And here, once again, we have the white. We have got these like bigger areas of white. I love the layers. Once again, I love this pop over here too. So all of these will be going up, and I will be using them as inspiration in the class, and especially when I get stuck.